Welcome, welcome. This is Solange Ellen, and I'm recording this little interview with Donna Markwell, mother of abducted 14-year-old Takara Markwell here on Nadgery Nation, Sandy Creek, South Australia. So Donna is staying with us as we support her in dealing with the DCP, and watching what she's going through is torturous. It's torturous to just watch what she's going through, let alone for Donna to actually be going through this completely unnecessary state-sanctioned child abduction and hostage holding situation. Donna, this is a really complicated situation, in the backstory of, the people that have basically conspired against you and turned on you and are making it their business to actively run a campaign of character assassination, which, I think in these situations where children are removed, this is a big part of why the wider community just steers clear, because they're like, oh, we don't know what's going on, it's too complicated, we just won't even bother to inform ourselves, or we'll just believe lies and, bits of information from here, there, or anywhere, and gossip and rumours and so much backbiting, when if we were an actually loving child protective community, everyone would put all of their shit aside, all of their baggage, all of their petty grievances, and pull together and just help each other to get Takara home and make sure she's safe. Even for anyone that might think, oh, Donna's not fit, for whatever reason, if you actually believe that, if you cared about Takara, you would be doing everything in your power to ensure Takara is returned to her grandparents, who love her and want her and have a safe place for her. And that's where Donna and Takara were headed before this hijacking and attack happened. They were going home to New South Wales to be with Donna's family. So this is a massive attack on a loving family by a whole bunch of people that have got conflicts of interest. And it's really disgusting.
And the thing that I wonder and that baffles me is one of them who were spreading rumours, one of the main persons who was spreading rumours, we'll just call it the Kerry cult, is now turning up at DCP. When I was there at the vigil Monday morning, this same lady turns up there, and I call her over, and she says, oh, I'm going in to see them. I said, good, go in and redeem yourself and tell them that the notifications are fake and this, that and the other. So she goes in, has a talk to them, got a meeting with them in the afternoon, and then she comes back out and chats with me and says she's going for foster and she's going to try and adopt my daughter.
So that's interesting, because I came down and I was with you at the DCP, and we gave notice to Joyce Clark and requested a meeting with Joyce Clark, and Donna, the mother of Takara, can't get a meeting with DCP, but Carey, this random stranger, who has no familiar
I lived with her for 2 months. She knows my ins and outs. She knows that I'm a good mother. She knows that I'm a great mother, actually, and I mothered her children when she wasn't there, when she was away leaving them on their own. This is what the problem happened. Peter said, send her home to look after her 5 children and stop leaving them alone and stop leaving them with someone who bashes them. That's all Peter was trying to say to them. I'm the messenger of that, so they shot the messenger. So prior to all this, someone had already put in referrals to DCP about that family, because up at where she would drop them off sometimes, the father is not allowed to have visitors there, let alone children, young children staying there for 12 hours a day.
Yes. So
the whole household had already put in referrals and stuff. They're talking to the psychologist, they're talking this or that. So this has already happened.
Mm-hmm.
This already happened. And she's just spreading rumours saying that I did it. I was living down there. Why would I do it? It's mental talk. Takara was beautiful with her children. Takara looked after them. She helped them get them to bed at night. She became a stranger to me after we left. after Shem said he was going to burn me alive in the caravan. That's the message I got from her and the children. So I had to leave that premises and stopped at the court.
So she turned on you.
Yeah, she turned on me by the end of it.
And then these reports were made.
Yeah,
and then you just happened to coincidentally cross paths with her as she was going into DCP Noarlunga to make a claim to take your child.
Yeah, and with view to adopt her. Hey, you know what? That's all I'm saying about that. You all go and figure it out, because I can't figure that out. She's turned on me. They grilled me on the 26th of October. 6 of them sat there and said, you said this and you did that. Now, Jim texts me last night. Oh, I've got basically he's got a character assassination video ready to go out. And so, you know, I've been recorded literally saying so many different things over the past year and a half. I've literally, my whole life's been recorded because of the Sundays and everyone knows me. Everyone knows my heart. Everyone knows how passionate and buoyant I've been in regards to child protection and people's rights overall. So if people want to forget that, that's their business. And if people want to believe what Jim and the little Kerry cult is saying.
Yeah, so let's just talk a little bit more about Kerry, because Kerry's got a partner, Shannon, that is a known abuser.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
The kids have got scars. The kids have been, they're all like, poor Joey has got scars on his head. And the last episode, he said, oh, he's bashed me like 20 times with a closed fist to the back of my head. And he ran away. And Layla's going, no, Joey, it's more than 20. It was more than 20 that he hit you. And this is the person who's supposed to be taking my child. She can't even protect her own children.
Yeah, so when you and Takara were living with Kerry, Shannon, the children's father, who's the abuser, was out of the picture.
No, he was working his way back in. He wanted me out so he could come back in.
Yeah.
He wanted me out. And when he's good, he can be good. He can be a great man. But when he does the psychotic flip, because he's got that, you know, that thing, that ability to do that, he can become anything. He's terrifying. He's like a big ogre walking around. He's just terrifying. You know?
And there was a bit of a standoff between yourself and him at one point where he was...
Yeah, so when Kerry was like, I want to break up with him, why don't you all protect me? So, you know, Peter, Jim, we all came down. Anthony, me, the whole group of us come down because Shannon was coming over to terrorise her and the family. So we all went down there and did our best to protect her. And then the next day she's up at the McDonald's with him. She didn't do any AVOs against him. And that's when Peter said, look, if she doesn't take proper action to protect herself and those children and get an AVO out against that man, stop going down and fighting her battles. So that's the message that Pete said. And you know what I said to Pete when he said that? I said, that's too harsh. We've got to keep helping her. He said, we can't just keep putting our men in the front line and getting bashed for her when she won't take the appropriate action. And I begged Peter, I said, please, it's too soon to cut off. But then as time went, I could see he was right.
Yeah, and it's just become more and more toxic and convoluted with the spreading of malicious false allegations and lies and rumours. And
well, the problem is she was up there with Jim. That's no secret. She's up there with Jim for hours and hours on end and leaving the children alone. And Peter just said, Jim, send her home, or other people who see her leaving the kids on their own, send her home to her children. And it's really an obvious thing. It's the obvious thing that should be happening. So this is where a lot of the problems stirred up from, and Kerry's lit the fire of stirring under so many people I've noticed. The group of 4 or 5 5 or 6 that grilled me on the Monday, they recorded it, and I was supposed to get a copy, and they're not to use it without my permission. They're not to use any video without my permission. Any video or voice recording of me used without permission I can prosecute them. It's prosecutable. So I give them no permission to use and publish any audio or visuals about me, because it's so easy to make someone say anything. So yeah.
Well, we've seen how the media do it, so we know that, you know, raw content can be edited.
And you know the funny thing, I actually provided them with the software that edits videos so we could all work together as a team. It's just diabolical the way things have gone with this. Absolutely diabolical. It's a reflection of people's hearts and where they're at.
Yeah. So, you know, this is an ongoing, you know, trauma that has a big backstory. That the biggest, most recent catalyst was the week before we were attacked by SAPOL here. There was a similar raid down at Lonsdale, the CLC, which is where Donna was, you know, involved in that community and working alongside Peter Horton, but not in a relationship with him. But that is part of the, you know, misinformation that's been formulated in claims against Donna. And so now that they have attacked Pete and labelled him a criminal and put him in jail for his stand for child protection and exposing, you know, the criminality of the courts, they're using that as another reason to justify the removal of Takara.
You know what they wrote in the referral, in their notes, because I received them, that though they have actually written that I was in a relationship with Peter Horton, who's a known criminal. And I have never been in only business relationship. I've never been in a romantic relationship with Peter Horton. I cuddled everyone else so much more than him. I was like, you know, it's like, it was just never like that for us. So people have started coming up to me saying, oh, you were in a relationship, or were you in a relationship? And then now I can see it's been spread that I was, because it's actually in the referral. It's actually one of the notifications that's in the referral.
Yeah. So Donna isn't and wasn't in a romantic relationship with Pete. Even if she was, he's a good man. Yeah. He's been targeted by this same satanic state operation. And what happened when Pete was removed is that the community has just imploded and turned upon itself. And
they didn't want to hear the messages that he was saying. They wanted to keep partying with Holly down there and people down there. We'll just keep partying. We had two small parties because I was leaving. Oh, that wasn't enough. It was just party zone. Party zone. And I know they want to pretend to forget that, but that's what it was. And then when you tell Pete that, he's saying, get her out, stop sleeping in my bed, stop, you know, the whole lot. And they didn't like that. They shot the messenger. I was just telling them Pete's well.
Yeah, so Pete is still being, you know, kept in the cage in the prison system here, and he really is a prisoner of war in this war between the child protectors and the pedophiles, because that's what's going on. Everyone needs to pick their side. Are you, you know, standing up, speaking up, coming together to help protect the children and help get Takara home to her loving family, or are you involved
in the Kerry cult?
Yeah, in spreading, spreading more malicious, you know, character attacks against Donna for no reason other than spite and trying to steal your daughter.
Yeah, well, yeah, they said, well, oh, adopt her, and no, go in and tell them it's rubbish and give it back to me. I know the system. I've worked in it before. I'll take her as a foster, because no one else will want to take her as a foster because she's 14 and blah, 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 blah.
Well, I can tell you, I've heard her grandparents speak and they want her, and nobody other than Donna herself has a higher claim. Her dad hasn't been in her life. So for Takara to go to her father, that's going to be like going to a stranger. Yeah. And that's what the DCP would like to put forward. How about someone ask Takara? Who's asking Takara what she wants?
And who's listening? Who's listening to Takara? Because I can tell you, Takara would have asked them a million times now, when can I go? Where's my mum? When can I see my grandparents? What are we doing? How can I talk to her? I rang today, as I don't know if you've heard, I rang today again. Oh, and they'll pass the message on and we'll see if we can get some phone contact. Let me guess. I bet I don't get a call back from them today. Let me just guess. We've heard all the other stories from all the other mothers. We know all these games. They arrange contact and they cancel it. They say jump through 20,000 hoops and then they go, nah, you're still not getting it back.
Takara is 14. She has her own phone.
She's nearly 15. She's 15 in January. She can get a job.
Yeah, there's no reason for her not to be able to have her own direct line of communication with her family. You know, this is absolute child abuse by the Department of Child Procurement down at DCP Noarlunga. Like, this evil needs to be exposed community-wide, because this is business as usual for them. They're used to getting away with this. This isn't the exception. They've got so many evil tricks that they use to torture the families that they target. And most just stay silent because they're so traumatized. They just shut down and do whatever these evil people at the DCP tell them to do. And no matter what they do, they are always fighting against this system that wants to keep them disempowered. The system doesn't work.
It's unpleasable.
Yeah.
It's unpleasable.
Yeah. They want to keep people in a constant state of trauma and disempowerment, and they have no pathways to genuine reunification. Like, they haven't even had Donna in the last 9 days to have a proper meeting. No proper meeting. What are they doing? What is going on?
How can I steal her back if I talk to her on the phone? Just let me talk to her on the phone.
Stealing her back. She's your daughter.
But that's what they're accusing me of.
Yeah,
But I'm going to just go and steal her back, you know.
Well,
I should be.
She is yours. Yeah,
Exactly.
she needs to be returned to you.
She does.
They've stolen her. They're strangers. We don't know them. We don't trust them. Every year they have an undisclosed number of missing children under the care of DCP, children that are dead or missing. How do we have an undisclosed number of dead or missing children?
And how come we're not tracking and tracing that? We seem to be able to QR and track and trace every other thing in the universe.
Yeah. A big black hole for missing children within the Department of Child Protection.
And big black hole for pedos. No tracking and tracing them. No, they've got rights.
Yeah, the court will protect the identities. Once the victims find the courage to come forward and report, and it goes on the record, then what happens? Then the record is suppressed and hidden away to protect those powerful pedophiles, and they go on with their life business as usual, and the victims are made to feel again totally re-victimized and disempowered.
Like Bill Heffernan's speech with the 28 suppression orders that are in Parliament as we speak.
Yeah, and the Mulligan inquiry here in South Australia, same thing, investigation into the institutionalised child sexual abuse going on here, and the victims come forward, give their testimony, the inquiry gathers all that information, and then instead of actually acting on it to remove these predators, the court puts a suppression order to hide that information away for 90 years or something ridiculous. So all of those predators can still carry on with their lives uninterrupted.
Oh, well, you know, if their names get out, people in society might not have any faith in the judicial system, so we better hide them. That was their answer.
Yeah.
That's how they deal with it.
Yeah.
And these are people in charge of all of you, not me anymore, all of you. I'm a victim of them now.
Yeah, these are the people that are pushing this COVID forward, that have written the Emergency Powers Act to give themselves the magical powers to come and take any child, take them away to the COVID isolation facility for 14 days. The parents that actually, you know, love and want to protect your children need to wake up and realise this is affecting us all. These authorities are a real and present danger to all of our children. And it's up to us, we the people, to come together, to talk honestly about what's going on, to listen to each other and to help each other, to work out how we're going to hold these people to account and have our children return to the families that love them. And if the families need support, if they're going through hardship, if they've got issues with homelessness, domestic violence, drug abuse, it doesn't matter. It actually does not matter what the pain and the trauma of these families are. What they need is community support.
Yes.
Because stealing people's children is never the answer for a pathway to healing.
No, never.
No one can heal while their child is in the hands of untrusted strangers. There can be no peace like that.
No, they can't be. Then all the children need to be returned to the parents that do want them. And then if there's parents that don't want their children, they need to be placed with loving, well, community people. So in the community, we're all accountable to each other. It's not you just take them off to some isolated house.
Yeah.
No. It's going to be community setting where we all look out and look after each other.
Yeah. Well, within the DCP, we know that they've got group homes set up where they keep the children in these group homes where the DCP workers just rotate in and out on shifts. And these are basically child brothels. You know, there's no one actually protecting these children. It's just organised crime with children that have been stolen from their natural protection, which is the people that know them and love them, and put with strangers that are not accountable to anyone.
And what's been told to me is that they just got to sign in the morning if they're 14 or 15, sign in somewhere, some book in the morning, and they're just free to roam the streets. They're just free to go and do whatever they want. So if you ever see Takara roaming the streets, you make sure you tell me where you've seen her, please. Because from the other carers that I've spoken to, when they're 14 and over, they've got this, they can just go out and they can do what they want. So if anyone ever sees her, please, I beg you, please email me, tell someone that you know, who's close to me still, so they can get the message to me, just somehow, please. I'm Sema Donna on Facebook. Even find me on Facebook. Please, you know, if we can pull together now, it would. I know we have been pulled together in the past, and all those people that come through the common law court, you know, you saw that we were authentically trying to push back against this, and you know, I'm sorry if I've offended anyone. For me, I was just speaking truth and being bold about it. And if the truth offends people, well, what can I say? Maybe we have to have a look at what your truth is compared to the truth and the substantiated truth.
Yeah. We need to talk truth. We need to come together and we need to figure this out and stop giving our power over to these false authorities and allowing them to hold children hostage and think that that's normal. It's not normal and it needs to stop now.
And women, stand up. Where are the women? The women of Australia. I think it was it John Wilson we were listening to before? He was talking about the women standing up and coming together. Where's our fury? Are we all really that fluinated that we don't have fury about this? Where's our motherly instinct gone? It's astounding. And I really feel so much more for, you know, all the original people where they just went in and stole all their children. And, you know, I know we knew one guy that come and taught for a while. He was really good. And he just saw a whole community get decimated when they went in and stole every child from that reservation. And that just decimated that community. This guy could hardly read or write. Well, he taught himself to read or write and he taught himself the law. But still now, the law is so corrupted, it just protects them, not us. So what, we're begging now? We're begging for mothers to be mothers now and help other mothers stand up together? I'm begging.
Yeah, we are begging.
I'm begging for the sake of the children that have been taken and for the sake of your children that you still have. For God's sake, please.